Hey guys, welcome to another driving test video for Bromley Driving Test Center. So this test was taken on Wednesday the 29th of October 2025 and the time for the test is 2:05 in the afternoon. So sadly this test was a fail, and for the mere reason of just habits. Now if you're not able to get out of your bad habits, it can get you into unnecessary fails. So please keep this in mind if you have to talk yourself through what you're doing, because this could have been avoided on this particular test, and you would see what I mean later on when we get to the point of the fail. So there were 4 driving faults on this test and 1 serious fault. So 1 driving fault for use of speed, 1 for control steering, 1 for signals correctly, 1 for progress on due hesitation, and then the serious fault, which again was for progress on due hesitation. So let's get on the road and see what we can learn and observe, or what we can pick and unpick on this test.
지친 하루 끝문득 들려온 너의 목소리 따뜻한 그 말 조용히 피어난 노란 봄 웃는 네 모습을 보면 괜히 심장이 빨라지고 너랑 걷는 이 길 위에 시간이 멈췄으면 해 눈빛 한 번이면 충분해 그 어떤 말보다 우린 깊게 이어져 지금 이 느낌 그대로 계속 바라볼래 조금만 더 이렇게 걷자 지금이 너무 좋아서 이젠 말해도 될 것 같아 널 향한 맘을 내가 먼저 다가가도 돼 그냥 옆에 있고 싶은 거야 I just wanna be close to you 그냥 이대로 자연스럽게 가끔 말 돌려도 한 번쯤은 웃어줘 괜히 애꿎은 두번 만들었다 놨다 계속 붙어있고 싶다 바짝 넌 아무런
So during this test, this was the period when they had a roadwork on Bontash Lane, and there was that temporary traffic light at the junction, which you're going to see just as you turn right onto Bontash Lane. So in this situation, because when that light is green, those coming from the right are going to be waiting. So of course, if there is no car or vehicle or other road users turning to the right on the road where you're sitting on, then you might want to creep forward. Then eventually, hopefully, someone would give you way. And I was very happy that the learner actually said the examiner prompted him and told him exactly the same thing. So at this point, he mentioned that the examiner said to him, you know, when that light goes green, you're gonna have to creep forward into the road, and then hopefully someone would give you way. And this is literally what you're gonna have to do in situations like this. But remember, examiner wouldn't necessarily have to tell you do your checks and make sure it's safe and like you see these red cars turning right onto this roadway we're sitting on here. So of course, if that light was green, you've got to look out for other road users like that who are turning, so that you can give them way before you start creeping out. So please, if you ever meet such situations, remember, examiner urging you and prompting you and, you know, giving you that little assistance here and there to go doesn't mean you shouldn't do your check and make sure it's safe. So right here, as you can see, they've done that and someone's giving them way. But if you sit behind the giveaway line there waiting and hoping, you know, you get a chance and someone's eventually someone might give you way, but it might take forever, or it might never even happen until the light changes again. So this is it. They've gone through it safely and everything was fine. So I'm very happy there, because, you know, some learners do get reluctant when you tell them to creep forward in situations like this into the road, of course, when and if it's safe. So, you know, being re-emphasized by the examiner there really does help him, confidently make that decision there. So, but remember, common sense plays in situations like this. This is where it becomes very important. If you have taken enough lessons and have driving lessons during different time of the day, or during various and different traffic conditions and situations, because it helps you come across situations like this, which you then learn how to deal with them should in case this happens on your test. So yep, as long as whatever you're doing it safely. You're not just creeping into the road while there's an oncoming traffic on your right or left and then you're forcing them to stop. That would be a no-no. So make sure it's safe from your right. If it's there, you're going to be creeping to or from or whatever, vice versa. So yep, let's go on and keep watching.
하는 척 그게 헷갈리게 만들어 눈빛 한 번이면 충분해 그 어떤 말보다
So remember, in situation where there is nothing blocking you at the giveaway at this roundabout, keep to your right, avoid the hatched area. I mean, as you drive through it, your back wheel might probably drive over it because of the center line here, while you're trying to keep within your lane and not going into the right lane. That is okay. But what you don't want to do is keeping way to your left and just driving over the hatched area. So keep to your right, stay within your lane as you get over the giveaway line, and let whatever happens just happen naturally there, rather than positioning left first. So position right first and then go over it, just like what you see here. See, so it's gone nicely over it, staying as close as possible to that center line, and the rest of the car leans over the hatched area. That is fine in that case. But if you're leaning way to your left, which means you're just treating the hatched area like if it were or it was your driving lane, then that is when you might have a problem. So we had a previous test where Elena did that, of course, and got a driving fault for that.
이어져 지금 이 느낌 그대로 계속 바라볼래 조금만 더 이렇게 걷자 지금이 너무 좋아서 이젠 말해도 될 것 같아 날 향한 맘을 내가 먼저 다가가도 돼 그냥 옆에 있고 싶은 거야 이건 설렘보단 조금 더 조용한 기분 너도 나처럼 생각할까 네가 웃는 걸 보면 천천히 나도 모르게
So at this point, they are coming to do the reverse bay parking, which the learner didn't struggle with. So I'm just gonna fast forward it so that we can get on with the rest of the test. But yep, all was fine here. I believe he just got one driving fault for control steering, and I was just say, but yeah, that's normal. It's normal. Sometimes maybe you understeer or oversteer and you make adjustments here and there. It's normal. So yep, let's get going.
I just wanna be close to you 지금 이 느낌 그대로 계속 바라볼래 조금만 더 이렇게 걷자 지금이 너무 좋아서 이젠 말해도 될 것 같아 날 향한 맘을 내가 먼저 다가가도 돼 그냥 옆에 있고 싶은 거야 지금쯤은 알아줬음에 네가 모를 리가 없잖아 하루 종일 너만 생각해 오늘은 꼭 내게 It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past 'Cause I know that God is good, He led me to where I'm at Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in But everything happens for a reason It won't always be blue skies ahead Sometimes you might need a helping hand just like iron, sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron, sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together. It's so unnecessary worrying about life. I might not have it all, but I know I'll be alright. He's gonna challenge me to be the best I can be, and to give back to those who need it. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron, sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron, sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together. Iron, sharpening iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. Calling us higher. Sharpening iron, calling me higher. Just like iron, sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron, sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're coming together.
I wake up every day as flesh and bones, humbled alone, weak on my own. Lord, you love me bare and natural. You need me where I am, still high on your throne.
I look up to you in all I do. You're my example of perfection.
To be pleasing in your sight is my soul goal in this life, but there's no pressure to be perfect. Perfect you are, perfect you are, so I don't have to be perfect. Perfect you are, you are. We try our best, but sometimes we fall short. It's part of our design. It's what we need God for. No record keeping, no no mistakes. I prep ahead of time. I'm never late. Make it there on time. Don't bring down the mood. Greet them with a smile. I thought that it was smart. Stay in my lane. Always hit the mark. Thought that was the way to get a head start. Perfection's the play. I had the leading part. I realize you never get a medal in the end. No, no one's gonna give you any credit. I was playing a game, but no one else seemed to participate. And I can't believe I got so judgy. I don't know what got into me. Can't believe I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. Got so judgy, making sure nobody got above me. Can't believe I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. Got
So far so good. Everything has been so well so far. But we are just around the corner to where the one serious fault occurred, and it's just so sad because of our due hesitation this happened. So just keep watching and sit tight as we come closer to the one and only serious fault that led to this test being a fail.
I don't know what got into me. Can't believe I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. Got so judgy, making sure nobody got above me. Can't believe I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. Got so coloring inside of the lines, leaving nothing a chance. So nobody's gonna find anything to fall me on. Thought that would mean I'd won. So afraid of being left behind. Did what I could to cut in line. No feelings, acting stone cold. Sitting on my high horse. Ego had a stronghold. I got judged. Don't know what got into me. Can't believe I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. I got so judgy, making sure nobody get above me. I let it get so ugly. I let it go too far. He asked what could he do for me. I told him that my love is free. But can you match me? I can do it all for myself. Want you but really don't need help. So can you match me? I like luxury. I like fancy things. Shine on my body.
So at this mini roundabout is where the learner failed the driving test. So getting to the roundabout now, let's see what's going on. So we've got this car turning left from the right here, and that was a perfect opportunity to go through, but he waited and didn't take the opportunity. So the second car's coming again and he's still waiting, and the third car and he's still waiting. Now at this point, a driver behind had already blown their horn out of frustration, so that jolted him off. So he moved off to try and go at the next opportunity, but then he reacted to another car that was coming from the left turning right, and stopped again, and the driver beeped again for a longer period, and then he moved off eventually. So yes, he got a serious fault there for undue hesitation, and that was the one and only serious fault on the test, plus one minor fault or driving fault at the car park. And sadly, that was it for the test. So yeah, but luckily though, the learner found another test after this one, probably, if I remember, about 3 weeks later or so, or 1 month, I think. And luckily he passed on that second attempt. So we're going to look at that video after. So I'm going to post it after several other tests that we've done, but I'm going to point that out when I'm doing that video, so that we can refer that video back to this one to know which driver is which when I'm uploading the video for the second test for this particular driver. So yeah, that was really it. Sadly, the test was a failure, even though, you know, the driving was actually a very good drive. Sadly, and this is it. A lot of the time I say to my learners, or I tell my learners who are actually very good, and then I, you know, just relax. You know, a lot of the times you can drive, but you worry too much about the driving test, and it just messes you up. And in this case, it's actually not it's not an unknown situation with the particular learner, because he actually did this exact same thing during the lesson before the test, you know. And I've always repeated the same thing: please stop waiting for cars coming from your left and waiting until they come to a full stop, because that is what caused him that day. And it does that often. And when I try to find out why that is the case, his reasoning behind that is he's trying to wait and make sure that the drivers on the left are going to stop. But that in many cases would never happen. You're not supposed to be waiting for them to stop. When you make progress into the roundabout, they will stop, unless of course someone has already committed into the roundabout. Then you just hold up and join them as they move through. But yeah, typically he holds up and trying to wait for them to stop. But I guess he learns the lesson the hard way after failing for the same reason. I mean, I wish I had the audio during the lesson 1 hour before the test where I was actually mentioning the same thing. So yeah, we ended up failing for the same thing. And you know, the examiner mentioned it, you know, and he said, you know, asked the question, do you drive internationally? Because it was very obvious. Now my learner is a Nigerian learner, so Nigerian driver, so you would understand if you know what driving is like in Africa or in some other Asian countries as well. Even in Paris, to be honest, you know, roundabouts can be crazy at some point where you've got to look out for everybody everywhere. Survival of the fittest. So yep, that was the case. So when you're used to that kind of driving, when you're waiting for everybody and everywhere, you know, coming out of that habit, sometimes people struggle with it. So you get to the roundabout and still trying to make sure everybody stops, and you know. But anyways, I digress. That was it. But we finally got to it. Even though after this though, to be honest, it still kind of did that a little bit. And I had to keep, you know, poking him and reminding him, hey, please don't let's fail for the same thing again. But that's really it. So let's watch to the end and see how it goes to the end. See if we can learn any other thing from the situations on the road as we head to the test center. So this is it, how a confident driver, or well, yeah, confident but worried driver failed the driving test. So keep watching.
Your team treat you like a king. If I trust, but you must be worthy of the crown. I'm not just anybody, born to live in luxury. La 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 la. La 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 la. Lux. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm serving rich Auntie Chloe B. I know my job is a blessing, but if you hate me, rocks on my wrist, fur on my feet, setting the table in all the chic. Baby, come eat. I like luxury. I like fancy things. Shine on my body. Live like royalty. Treat you like a king if I trust, but you must be
point at this traffic light, please remember, if you're turning right here, remember that you've got 2 lanes turning to the right. So be disciplined with your lane positioning. There is no marking dividing the 2 lanes as you cross the light, but remind yourself, if you're in the middle lane from this position, target the pavements, just like the driver has done here. He's done a good job, because I keep emphasizing that. Move towards that pavement and let the road merge you after the traffic light. Don't move off there and then you start moving sideways to your right, because that's not your lane. Remember, there are other drivers who might just be in that right lane turning as well, and if you just cut into their lane as you're turning, that's not gonna be good. The same thing if you were in the right lane. Please don't go from the right lane and start moving towards the pavement as you drive off. Remind yourself again that that pavement is for those who are in the middle lane there. So keep to your right, be aware of what the driver beside you on your left in the middle lane there is doing. So again, position properly, maintain that position, and as you pass the next light as you're turning, the road merges at that point, and at that point you're going to be more or less fine if you've kept your positioning. So please keep this in mind.
I work too hard, no mind. We come so far away. Covered these scars in diamonds. Every day I'm alive, it's giving life.
And if you're turning right here, please remember, although this space here is little, is small, but please make use of it. Use the hatch if you have to straighten yourself up, so that you don't block traffic behind you who are going straight. Now keep in mind, please, I'm not trying to say you need to make way for them by going over your own lane into the traffic, into the lane for oncoming traffic. But what I'm saying is, use the space. If the cars can fit, then great. If the car behind you is too big for the remaining space, that's not your problem. You have done what you can and you've used up the space you've got for you in your lane. That's fine. Just make sure you do what you have to do on your own path and let everything else sort itself out. So that was a very good emergency stop exercise right there. So the distance traveled, if you look at the suddenness, if that's a word, or if you look at how sudden the car came to a stop within that second, that was very good. So I always make that joke that, if you were to ask to do an emergency stop and I left something on the chair at the back and that thing doesn't land on the floor, then you probably didn't do it well. There's no reason why you should do an emergency stop and something sitting on that back chair and not being strapped is still sitting there, then check yourself again, because that means you probably have run someone over if that was a real emergency, and then you stop gently, like if you're just taking a stroll to the park or something. It's an emergency. Just think of it. Maybe someone, your loved one, or someone so precious to you has just suddenly jumped into the middle of the road. What are you gonna do? So remember, no mirror checks. Examiner will probably brief you on that as well. They would remind you again, that they're going to look around before they ask you to do that. So you don't need to do, even though, to be honest, I don't think they should be telling you that, because it's an emergency. But just remember, please, you've got to look around now before you drive off. That is important. Don't forget that. Don't move off in that rush and forget to look around you. And sadly, maybe someone is coming through, about to pass you, and you try to drive off without noticing on time. So yeah, remember, all round check before driving off after your emergency stop. So yeah, now they're coming back onto Montage Lane, and that brings us to the end of the test. So don't forget, guys, please like the videos, share, subscribe if you haven't. There's a lot of people viewing the videos and I really don't see much likes on them. Please remember, it does help a lot. It does help the algorithm, or algorithm does help the algorithm to recommend the videos to other learners like you. And the more that happens, the better, the more time I can spend editing these videos for you guys to watch. It takes a longer time to do these voiceovers. That is why I could be chunking these videos out as soon as the tests are over and all that, but I want it to be more sensible. I want it to be more useful to you, and that's what I do, all these voiceovers, and it does take time. So please, if you feel like this is useful, then please like that video, and I would really appreciate that. So yep, that is it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button. Right, that's the least, but can do so much for the channel. So please, if you haven't, then subscribe and like the video. Share as well if you think there's someone that might benefit from it. Yep, and if you've got any question, leave the comment below. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, aunties and uncles. That's the end of this test, at least in the next few seconds, and I would see you guys in the next video. So enjoy some nice tune as we come to the end of the test, and in advance, happy Christmas in advance, and happy New Year in advance. One love, peace, and I'm out.